So, I'm playing a little game in the background just for something to look at, but in the foreground, or in the audio version, I guess you would say, I wanted to talk a little bit about exercise and weight loss and calories and all that good stuff, because I noticed, of course, we have this exercise challenge going on, and that's great. It's good for your health. It's good for toning muscles, increasing flexibility, and your strength, of course. But if the goal is really to lose weight, then exercise is probably not going to be the best option because, as I have experienced myself as well, and as the internet will tell you, the main thing for weight loss is to have a calorie deficit. And that means you need to watch what you're eating. The thing is, you have a base metabolic rate, as they call that, and what the base metabolic rate is the amount of calories that your body needs per day just to exist. So if you sit in a chair for the entire time during the entire day, you need this many calories in order to do that. You can calculate how much calories that is for you, and for me, I put it in the calculator already, so we have the example on the screen right now. So I put in my age, my gender, my height, and my weight, and then press calculate, and for me, I would need to eat 1,468 calories, that's of course an estimation, in order to just maintain my weight, because that is all the calories I really just need to exist. Now, of course, you do actually move around on a daily basis. At least I walk the dog, and of course I walk around the house to get stuff done, all the house chores and things like that, so I'll probably need a little bit more than that. But exercise does not burn as many calories as you would hope. I've got an image here. There are plenty of different overviews online about how much different exercises burn. But I found an image that I think illustrates fairly well how difficult it is to lose weight just on exercise alone. I found this cardio plan, which claims to burn 500 calories in 30 minutes. And that would mean that within 30 minutes, you would have to do 100 jump rope reps. You would have to do 75 high knees, 50 bodyweight squats, 25 push-ups, 150 jump rope again, 75 jumping jacks, 50 alternating lunges, 25 sit-ups, 200 rope jumps again, and 75 butt kicks, 50 mountain climbers, and 25 leg raises per side. Apparently, so that's 50 in total. Now, I'm not really sure what some of these things are, but it does go to show that you need to put a lot of effort into burning just 500 calories. And 500 calories is very easy to eat if you go and make a sandwich with some cheese and some ham or whatever it is that you like to put on your sandwich. Put a little bit of mayo on there, perhaps some other type of sauce. You're very easily going to reach that 500 calories just in your lunch alone. That might be just part of your lunch. Now imagine if you also ate something similar for breakfast and something similar for dinner. You would very easily end up on 1,500 calories if that's all you ate, but of course most people eat more than that. And a lot of people forget about the liquid calories that are in their diet because people tend to give a pass to anything that they drink. But pretty much any drink that is not tea, coffee, or just water will have calories in it. And when I say tea and coffee, of course I mean tea and coffee without sugar and cream, or flavored syrups, which is apparently very popular these days. So when you start calorie counting, make sure to also include those. Now, last year around Easter, I started losing weight because we were asked to have pictures taken for the company website. And when I got my pictures back in order to choose the one that I liked best, I looked at them and I didn't like any of them because I was really big in them and I was not expecting that. For some reason, whenever I looked in the mirror, I didn't quite see how big I actually was. Probably because when I'm looking in a mirror, I'm just looking at like specific things like how does my hair look, how does my face look, how does this shirt look, something like that. But I don't look at the total picture. But photos can be very confrontational in that sense. So I looked at that photo and I thought, this is not good. This needs to change. So I wanted to lose weight. Now, I really, really hate exercise. I am not somebody who will do push-ups or squats or any of that sort of thing. And luckily for me, I already kind of knew that what I really needed to do was eat less. And I wanted some help to stay on track. So what I did was I installed an app called Lose It. Now, there are other apps available, like there's one called MyFitnessPal, which is also very popular. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other apps out there that you could use as alternatives. The good thing about those apps is that most of them will ask what your goal is, and then they'll set like a diet plan for you with a daily calorie goal. What you then do is just keep track of everything you've eaten and drank that has calories in it, which is not as difficult as it sounds because particularly the larger apps like Lose It and MyFitnessPal have a whole database already running in the background with most of the foods you could possibly encounter or foods very similar to the ones you're about to eat. So most of the time, all you need to do is enter a quick search for an item and a whole list will pop up with things that look very similar to what you're about to eat, or scan the barcode of the item if it's something that's store-bought. And most of the time, I'm able to find what I'm eating very quickly that way. So if you're holding off installing one of these apps to track your calories because you think it's going to be too much of a hassle, then don't worry. Just give it a try. They're free. Most of them anyway, and others do tend to try and ask you if you want premium, but you can always just nope out of that and keep using it for free with all of the basic functions that you actually really need. Now, if you spend some time just looking at the nutritional fact labels on the foods you tend to eat, you may come to the conclusion that you would have very little to eat if you were to go on a diet. But you don't have to go hungry at all. I actually didn't go hungry the entire time that I was on a diet because I made sure to eat things that had extra protein in it because protein has you feeling full for longer. Carbohydrates have the exact opposite effect. So if you're eating a lot of bread, a lot of things with sugar in it, or just carbs in general, because all the carbs on the label are carbohydrates, whether they're complex or whatever, they will have you feeling hungry faster because it's like this blood sugar spike that you get, and then when it drops back down, your body tells you that you want to eat, and then you go out and look for other things to eat, and then you very easily end up overeating. So make sure to eat less carbs. You do need some carbs, obviously, but mostly protein and fats also work pretty well. Like the good fats, you can definitely use some of that because protein and fat have gotten, like at least particularly fat has gotten a very bad reputation, but it's really not deserved. Don't be afraid of eggs and things like that. Even have a little bit of bacon every once in a while. Not too much, of course, because that is also a very high calorie food. And I don't think eating a whole bunch of bacon all day, every day is going to be very good for you either. You do always need to have some variation in your food, but I wouldn't be afraid of it. In general, I wouldn't be afraid of eating any type of food because I would also, during my diet, just go and have a burger somewhere, but I would just make sure that the total amount of calories that I would eat that day would stay within that calorie deficit range, so that at the end of the day, it didn't really matter what I ate as long as I was still in that deficit and I would continue to lose weight just fine. And at no point during the entire time did I eat a salad because just like exercise, I really hate salads. I am not a fan of lettuce. I also didn't start eating extra vegetables. Like I said, I was focusing mostly on protein and fat. Vegetables are good if you're looking to have a full plate of something. Like I did often grab some frozen spinach and I would just throw that in the microwave in a little microwavable container. And then I'd have pretty much a plate and a half of spinach for almost, I think, 200 calories maybe in total, because it had like the cream in it, because it was the a la creme version, because I don't like straight up spinach too much either. Do need a little bit of flavor. But that was a lot of food, just looking at it, for very few calories. So you can definitely do stuff like that if you wanted to. But mostly I would eat what other people would probably consider fairly small portions, but they wouldn't feel like small portions because of the protein. And the main issue, if you would call it an issue, that I had was actually other people because I live by myself. So when I'm at home, I can eat whatever I want. Nobody sees what I'm eating, so nobody has an issue with that. But when I went to work at the office, of course, we would have communal lunches. And people had noticed that I was starting to lose weight because my face started losing weight faster than the rest of me, which is an interesting fact, but okay. So they saw that I was losing weight and they started paying extra attention to what I was eating for lunch. And so I had to make sure to bring something that actually looked like lunch. So what I would do is I would bring my little lunch container with some yogurt in it, and I would cut a pear into small pieces, and I would also put some protein powder in the yogurt, mix it all together, and then sprinkle some cinnamon on top so it actually looks like a decent lunch. Just to get people off my back, really, because for whatever reason, when somebody is losing weight, other people have issues with that, or they have some thoughts about that. When it was particularly apparent, they would ask if I was indeed losing weight, like if that was part of the plan. And then instead of asking me how I did it, they started talking about how that's impossible because there are some people there that do have a few extra pounds. And I guess they've tried to lose weight in the past, but they didn't find it all that easy. And then seeing somebody else losing weight makes them go, nope, that's not possible. I don't know what you're doing, but it's probably wrong. And probably when you're done losing weight, you're going to gain it all back again. So why bother? Blah, blah, blah. And there were people who miraculously found all the different types of snack food in the office every day that I was there, and then would start offering it to me like, oh, look, I found some extra cake. Oh, look, we had this and that celebration the other day. Oh, there's still some stuff left. You want some of this? You want some of that? Like they're trying to get me to break my diet for some reason. I guess it's like a threat or something. Either way, if you don't work in an office, then that's not an issue for you. But if you do, then you might want to consider what it is that you bring and consider the reactions of the people around you because they may try to sabotage you for their own reasons. And while I'm on the topic of other people's reactions, I found it very interesting to note that my mother didn't react at all. And that could be that she didn't notice, but that's very unlikely because I looked very different from before. And she's always been the one that's been the most concerned with my weight. She's always put me on diets when I was growing up as well. I was a little bit heavy, I guess, as a kid, but looking back at pictures of back then, I actually looked at a few the other day, and I wasn't actually fat at all, but I kind of remembered as though I was fat because I was constantly being put on diets. And my mother would always tell me, like even up to last year, that I was getting too heavy and I can see your stomach in that shirt. Shouldn't you lose some weight? She herself is not super thin either, so she could just as easily levy that comment against herself. And she would always send me like diet tips through WhatsApp and all that sort of thing. I would get like all the Dr. Frank things that she found in whatever magazine she was looking at the time. And the most recent one before I started losing weight was, oh, you need to eat a pickle in the morning and a pickle in the evening and then you can lose weight. And she like sent me this article about that. And so when I lost all the weight, or pretty much all of it, I took like a couple of pictures, like, oh, look, this is what I look like now. And then I said, like, oh, how's your pickle diet going? Are you losing any weight yet? And of course she wasn't. So it's very interesting that she had no comment on that. You would think if somebody was telling you that you need to lose weight for so many years and then you finally do it, that they would be happy. But that doesn't always seem to work with some people. But okay, that's like a personal complaint. And when I say it was noticeable, I'm talking at the start I was 104 kilos and currently I'm 75. And so that is a difference of almost 30 kilos, which I believe the calculator said was about 66 pounds. So there's absolutely no way that she didn't notice the difference. But okay, for everybody else, I hope that the people in your environment will be more supportive of your weight loss and that they will not make weird comments. Because at the end of the day, you're working on your health and not theirs. And if that makes them insecure, then the problem lies with them and not with you. So I wish you the best of luck with your exercise and diet endeavors. I'm looking forward to seeing the results. Keep us updated. And thanks for watching and bye-bye for now.